Now, it's 7:33 West African time, and let's talk insecurity. The abduction of worshippers in Comenwali Community, Kajuri local government area of Kaduna State is being linked to claims by the bandits that the community stole 17 motorcycles allegedly kept in the bush in a neighboring village. This is according to an eyewitness, Joseph Bauer, who escaped from the abductors. While being taken into the forest, he spoke to Arise News correspondent, Nessie Gabriel.
January 2026, gunmen suspected to be bandits attacked this very community known as Kurumwali in Kajuru local government area of Kaduna State, where worshippers were gathered during Sunday services. Locals and pastors say over 100 persons were abducted by these gunmen from Ekwa Church, Cherubim and Seraphim 1 and 2 Church here in this community. I have here with me Mr. Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Can you walk us through what happened on that very day?
Shortly, it was on the 18th January. We are in the church services around 9 o'clock in the morning. Kidnappers has come and attack the church. They enter the church, scatter everything, ask us to lie down. They sack everything, our sets, our money. After that, they carry all of us to the other church. Before we reach there, the people of the other church are lying down. As we reach there, they force us to lie down. After lying down, they sack everything, they collect everything from us. After that, they push us into bush. As we were in the bush, we reached one place. They say we should stop. And it is that place. They suffer us a lot. They beat us to the last extent. Many people of us are in hospital now. As from there, they carry us front. As we are moving, we reach one village. They have sent the people away from the village. Nobody is there. So from that village, some of us escape. Me, God didn't opportune me to escape there. As we go front, we want to cross a small river. The river is so narrow, and we were many. So people try to cross that river. People are many. We were pushing one another. I on this age, I have no power to push and cross. They were beating me. So I found that I stand behind the people inside water. So the people cross and leave me there. Even the bandits that are following us, they cross and leave me there. As I found that they are not looking at me, I found a way. I follow inside water and escape. I follow bush, come to this village.
Well, during this whole incident, did the gunmen or the bandits, did they say where they were taking you guys to?
You say?
Did the bandits tell you where they were taking you to?
They say as we reach there, as we go there, they say they keep a 17 motorcycle inside the bush. As they go carry the motorcycles, they didn't see them. That is the reason they kidnap us. And if we didn't produce those motorcycles, they are going to kill all of us. And after killing all of us in the village, in the bush, they will follow. They will come to the village. The people remain in the village. They will come and kill everybody in the village.
So they accused your community and people in this community of stealing their motorcycle.
Yes, sir.
And that is why they came to abduct you people.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard from those that were abducted? And how many people escaped?
177 were kidnapped. And out of that 177, 11 people escaped. Now we have 166 people in their hand.
What a harrowing report.
Absolutely.
Joining us now is Major General Augustine Agundu, retired former theater commander of Operation Safe Haven. We'll be discussing the urgent need to re-engineer Nigeria's security structure, especially in light of incidents like the recent abduction of worshippers in Kurumwali, Kaduna State, where banditry has left communities vulnerable. Major General Agundu, thank you so much for being with us. You have first-hand experience in tackling security challenges, and you're going to share more insights with us today for the benefit of Nigerians. Thank you for joining us. All right, you saw that report from our correspondent on the ground. Initially, there was confusion about whether this happened or not. It has been confirmed, as we can see from some of the victims who escaped and the families of those who were also picked up. What's your initial reaction to how this entire episode has played out, and what are the failures you are seeing here? And then, as former theater commander, walk us through what would be appropriate steps to handle this type of situation.
Thank you very much for having me, and good morning, Nigerians. This is one situation that is too many to recount. We cannot continually be on talk shows over insecurity in this country. The perpetrators are known within communities. The perpetrators are parcel of the community, and they continue to engage in such heinous crimes against humanity, and then laying the blame on security agencies or relevant government institutions to come to a rescue. What has stealing of 17 motorcycles got to do with abducting 177 members of the community? These are innocent, hard-working Nigerians who are putting their heads together to make sure that they are able to provide the basic needs that they require. These are communities far-flung from perhaps the closest civilization. They are contented with what they are doing, or should we resort to such devilish acts in order to say that governments are not doing what they're supposed to do in terms of protecting lives and property? That's not the issue. We need to have this concerted effort in order to nip everything in the bud, whatever that it is that's causing the mishaps, whatever that is causing these levels of this disgruntled state of situation. But kidnapping should not be, we should not resort to kidnapping as a way of solution. So, and I'm very happy that all the states, yes, like you rightly reported, there have been misrepresentations concerning what actually happened or what never happened. But again, all the security agencies are now on board to say that, yes, this incident happened, and the state governor will appreciate his efforts so far, Governor Obasani, on all the steps that he's taking to ensure that the rescue of these innocent Nigerians, they return back to the community safe and sound.
Right.
It's not necessarily the issues regarding with security failures, because we cannot, there is nowhere, no nation in this world can give you adequate 100% boots on the ground across the entire theater or across the communities. So we need to be able to be our brothers' keepers.
Now, Regina is a very well-known hotspot for banditry. Why is there no security presence in this area?
Now, it might be erroneous to say there are no security presences. Like I said, we cannot put up troops or even the security agencies in every nooks and cranny. And one thing we must understand is that these criminals, they are what they are, criminals. And they know the vulnerable communities. They know where they are going to strike, where it will be difficult for swift reaction from the security agencies. And that's why perhaps we might have gotten all these controversies, whether actually it happened or it never happened. But the point remains, community should be able to also liaise with them. And again, you see, to get this in its right perspective, you start looking at the infrastructures available within communities. Do you even think that we have a good network coverage over those communities? Do we have access roads over those communities? How do we respond? The responder, how would they react? I want you to put, if for instance there is a fire incident and you do not have, even the fire brigade will not have access road to get to the areas where this building is gutted in fire, it becomes difficult to rescue. So these are the issues, and I know that just like I've followed the reactions of the state government, how they are going to meet up with some of the infrastructure needs of those communities, so that reactions by respondents will be a little bit swift, better than what we have now.
Okay, now people have often said that in a culture of impunity, the call for accountability often sounds like an attack. Now, we've seen these situations happen serially, and it appears business as usual. To what extent would you say that there is no accountability in our security architecture? Because no question, no heads are rolling on something that is as serious as abduction, killings, and widespread insecurity.
We must get something very clear. In as much as the security agencies are nipping situations in the bud, the criminals are also looking for the leeway in order to commit their heinous. They are what they are, criminals. But we will now have to do some kind of a surgical operation on who are those who are sponsoring sympathizers or sponsors, or those who are giving them the lifeline that they require to commit this heinous crime. There are remote and immediate causes to this. And how are we even sure that 17 motorcycles were stolen in the first instance? Who reported that? Who knows about that? And how are we sure that there are no other people prompting these criminals? And therefore, do not forget that even within the cities, those who are promoting and sponsoring, by either directly or indirectly, they are the ones.
General, sorry, I need to come in. I'm talking about accountability. So, in simple terms, who takes responsibility for all these incidents?
Yeah, we talk again. The essence is for the opt-in time that we need to re-engineer the security architecture. Our national security mechanism, we have to work on it to know who is going to be responsible at what state, and at what state will another person. And now it comes also to talk about the local government system that we run. You see, when we're talking about this, everything just lies on the security agencies. If we look at the local government, when we're talking about autonomy of local government autonomy, most often we're talking about Naira and Kobo. That's not it. The local government will be responsible to certain areas. We cannot, for an instance, for some persons who are bereft of ideas, they will keep talking about ungoverned space. There is no space that is ungoverned, because every space belongs to a local government. So if the local government have their own total autonomy to rule over their space, then you will be able to see that certain little things will have to be well coordinated. There is a chairman of that local government. There are councillors over that local government. They should be able to liaise, and with the state security architecture, local government security architecture, liaise together. So the total re-engineering of our security architecture is not just at the federal level. It's something that needs to go down to the last man. There are three tiers of governance: federal, state, and local. So we must make that local government function optimally for us to get better security in line with security, not talk of other areas of governance.
All right, now that you mentioned the state and local governments, let's go to Katsina State, where it has been reported that the state government is planning to release some 70 bandits as part of a peace deal in order to secure the release of abducted victims and also ensure sort of peace and stability and security in the state. As a former theater commander, would you advise this move, and what do you think are the implications of placating criminals?
It comes to a lot of implications, and no one works in isolation. Again, it delves into this coordination that we're talking about, for everyone to know where your responsibility starts and where it ends. We always borrow from foreign countries, and we refuse to implement same here in our own country. At a point, if the federal troops come into it, then state government apparatus will now fall back. If the local government apparatus is at work, the state government will now fall back. So it's not, if the state government, if the Katsina state government decide to do, they cannot do that in isolation. Where did they get that wisdom from? With due respect. So the more able to do, there are consequences when you do certain things. And in the first instance, the population, are they also carried along in order to take such decision? Look at what we did when we started Operation Safe Corridor, whereby some of these repentant Boko Haram have been reintegrated, we have been retrained through the DDR that we had. Even some communities refused to accept the repentant, even after going through a lot of psychological situations, psychological reorientations and all whatnot. But yet the community refused to. So it's easier to make political statements. It's easier to make something that suits the bandwagon, but the consequences are worse than just allowing some certain persons who have committed heinous crime to go back into the society. Let's go back. If you decide to re-examine without repeating things, the situations that happened in Rwanda, and how many years it took for them to, even those who were arrested, who know that they committed and they had to face the UN tribunal that took place in Tanzania and whatnot. It took a lot of effort, a lot of rebranding of the situation for a community to accept. So we have to be very careful, and the state government cannot work in isolation with what the national security strategy talks about. It cannot work in isolation with what the federal government is doing through the entire security agencies and all whatnot to carry out such a responsibility. Well, they know how it pinches them most.
Okay, General, why does it seem like these bandits are ahead of the state when it comes to strategy? Why are they always ahead of the military presence in each state? It will be totally out of place to say that they are ahead. They are not ahead, because now we have better coordination of our military operations. We have better coordinations in the sense that there is a greater effort by the federal government to get procurement of necessary platform that will aid military operations. And what we're seeing today is that there are greater successes that we are recording across the whole theater. It's not the past 6 months. Let us be fair to ourselves. If we even want to take the holiday season as the last holiday season as a yardstick, you see, there is preferable peaceful environment across the entire nation over this as it used to be 3 years ago, 4 years ago. So there is a greater effort. Troops are being engaged are engaging the bandits in series of attacks, counter-attacks, and counter-insurgency operations. So we are making progress. And all what we need now is the sustain. For an instance, even in the Northeast, they are carrying out what they call a stabilization operation. A lot of persons are returning back to their communities that they abandoned 10 years ago. We have greater successes that we are recording. But unfortunately, a little spill is always what catches the eye. Every life lost is as important as 100 lives lost. So a lot of things are going on in terms of coordination of our operations, in terms of relations with the other security agencies. The service chiefs are working better with even other security agencies. And that's why we're having some level of respite today.
Okay, now we look at this situation, and one thing that comes to mind is the guarantee that these bandits, these insecurity threats will not return again. And the indications are always in the negative when you ask yourself that question. And it brings us to the point of how well are we mobilizing and harnessing our intelligence assets? Because if the Christian community made an outcry that there was an abduction and the state institution denied, and it took them some days before coming to that reality, what does that say about our military operations, about our security operations, about the promptness of the response to this kind of existential threat?
Yes, existential threat, correct. But let's not reduce this to Christian community, because there are heinous crimes being committed across the entire theater.
That should not be the emphasis. I
will disagree.
I'm talking about promptness now. Let's underline promptness.
That's right. We are talking about promptness, the responsive actions from the security agencies and all whatnot, and those who are charged with security of lives and property across the entire theater of operation, across the nation. So the point is that the military security agencies, they know their jobs. They know their job, but let's not forget, we keep on
hampering on what was not done. But if you look at the entire national security mechanism, the military and security agencies, they occupy only 25% of the whole. We have said this over and again. The elements of national power have to be collapsed into having a safe environment for everybody to do his or her own responsibility as to the best of their ability. So the rest 75% has to do with all other components of national power. And this is very essential that we must put into perspective.
Major General Augustine Agundu, former Commander Operation Save Heaven, thank you very much for your insightful contributions indeed. We hope that the government at all levels are listening and all the security stakeholders. Unfortunately, we are pressed for time, and that's all we have time for here on Daybreak. I'm Benga Ashurich. Goodbye from me.
And I'm Constance Ikoku. Thanks for joining us. Goodbye.
And I'm Yolanda Robert. Please do keep it here on Arise News. The morning show is next. Goodbye.